Struggle stalwart Ahmed Kathrada would have turned 91 years old today. Can you believe it? The Ahmed Kathrada Foundation is hosting a rally on the COVID-19 corruption that speaks to Uncle Kathy's lifelong fight against the scourge. To explain to us the relevance of Kathrada's values today, we're now joined by the director of the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, Neeshan Balton. Neeshan, a very good morning to you. Always a pleasure talking to you. How is the foundation celebrating this momentous milestone, posthumously, of course?
Thank you very much. Thank you hugely for this opportunity. Well, firstly, we have young people in different youth clubs of the foundation, and one in particular in Finetown today would be launching a feeding scheme, a soup kitchen that they've started as part of the Kathrada Foundation youth clubs. And this evening, we host an online rally to focus on COVID-19 corruption. And this rally brings together the widest range of voices from different sectors of society to not only voice our kinds of objection to what is going on, but to continue a tradition of championing values of integrity, ethics, and selfless service.
When you say objection to what's going on, do you feel as a foundation there is a need to mention specifically the incidences that you're referring to about what's going on?
Well, I think specifically COVID-19 corruption within a wider context of corruption and state capture, for us was the kind of lowest point that we could have got to as a country in terms of the moral depravity that just stealing funds meant to save people's lives and to keep hunger away from millions of people as well. I don't think any country can go lower than this. And you've seen the kind of corruption around COVID-19, around PPE, food parcels, hospital equipment, beds, and it's just the range of goods and services that were needed to deal with this pandemic. And almost every one of them have had elements of corruption, whether it's price fixing, overcharging, or just outright theft is what we've been dealing with.
How are you engaging with the conversation that health workers, how he's going on strike today in the laboratory space, health workers have not been paid, but tenders, irregular tenders have been paid out? This is kind of confusing.
No, it's skewed priorities, and that's precisely what we think the noise needs to be about. And we need to be, because it's health workers who are at the front line of fighting the pandemic, who should have had the best possible equipment, the best possible facilities that all of this money should have been able to buy. And I think it's good that now is bringing the kind of deficiencies to the fore, which really makes visible the effects of corruption at a time when this country could least afford it. And tonight we do have a health worker speaking at the rally to precisely talk about the effects of COVID-19 corruption on health workers, as well as there will be some community members who would reflect on the impact of COVID-19 on communities and their abilities to withstand issues of hunger and malnutrition, and how this has been impacted on by COVID-19 corruption that has made what was a bad situation before even worse today.
Please give our viewers details in terms of online engagement if they would like to take part in the proceedings of the rally.
All the login details are available on the Kathrada Foundation website, on our social media pages as well. We do require that for anybody who is interested in attending the rally, that they would need to register and log on. And they can either be there via Zoom or Facebook Live is the other channel that it will be streamed on via the the Kathrada Foundation Facebook page as well. And both these channels have chat facilities for members of the audience to engage directly with the foundation, as well as to make very concrete suggestions on what they think needs to be done to combat COVID-19 corruption, and more importantly, what each individual or their organizations are prepared to do, because we think that society needs to be galvanized to actually demonstrate the kinds of anger that we know exist throughout the country.
Last year, a speech by Solima Paila at your events sparked a lot of conversation and interest, and it was also around corruption. Just give us a sense of who your other speakers are for today.
Today we have Thuli Madonsela, Zwelenzima Vavi, Frank Chikani, Kes Kuvadia, Sandile Zungu, amongst others. We also have, importantly, Joni Fredericks, who comes from one of the communities in the Cape, who actually made one of the most heart-rendering appeals at the start of the lockdown to the president. We have Professor Bali Ramakgopa, who would be speaking on the impact of the health sector. Mulana Ali from the Muslim Judicial Council. Rabbi Sar from the Jewish community will deliver a recorded interview. Bonang Mohale is also coming on. Stephanie Fick from Outa. Unkoseli Jack from PE would also be speaking. And importantly, Sylvia Stemple, who's a former whistleblower, would be talking about the need for whistleblowing to come to the fore as part of the response needed to stem the growing tide of COVID-19 corruption.
We've spoken to Cynthia Stemple before. She was with SAA, quite a brave woman there, and all the stories she has to speak about corruption within the South African Airways. Sandile Zungu has been very vocal in terms of COVID-19 procurement not favoring black businesses. What will he be speaking about today?
Well, I suppose each of the speakers will focus on their respective take on, firstly, COVID-19 corruption, its effects, but more importantly, what they think society's response needs to be from their particular sectors as well as in general.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be quite a long lineup and quite exciting as well. Is it only a one-day celebration? Are you celebrating for the rest of the month? What other activities has the foundation got planned?
We've been marking Uncle Kathy's 91st birthday for the whole of August. So importantly, in the beginning of August, when we visited the gravesites of the leaders of the 56 Women's March, we launched a campaign to start recording as many of the names of the participants of that march. And that is a project that we will continue. And it has got a huge response from all over the world, of family and friends sending us details of people that they knew or knew of who took part in that march, because we think that a roll call of honor for the participants of the march is long overdue. And this is a project that we will eventually want to house at South Africa History Online and other similar institutions. Secondly, we have initiated a campaign with the youth clubs of the foundation it's a crowdfunding campaign to raise the necessary funds to provide sanitary pads to 500 young women who are members of the Kathrada Foundation youth clubs for a year. And in the course of this month, a number of youth clubs of the foundation will also be launched. We hosted an important anti-racism conversation about racism in cricket. At the end of the month, we'll host one on focusing on rugby as part of the dedicated anti-racism work of the foundation.
Yeah.
So we've continued that kind of work as part of the legacy to Uncle Kathy.
We have to wrap our conversation, but I want to ask you a quick one in terms of all the activities you're putting out there. What sort of engagement or buy-in are you finding? Are you getting from South Africans in terms of activism? Are South Africans engaged in these conversations about corruption, about how to take the country forward in terms of a faltering economy and so on and so forth?
Let me put it this way. If it were not for the COVID-19 restrictions and our respect for the need to keep the infection rates down, my sense is that millions of South Africans would have been in the street today to make their kind of unhappiness and perhaps disgust known. So the sense of activism is there, but I think respect for the need to keep the infection rates down is what really prevents that kind of public display of anger. I think that the level of activism that would be visible would have been much more higher were we not in a COVID-19 period.
Well, let's say happy birthday to the patron and the person you named the foundation after Uncle Kathy, and we hope the celebrations all go well.
Thank you very much.
Neeshan Balton is with the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. And as you heard, go on to their website for all the details about events today celebrating his birthday.